Hi, coaches. Happy Sunday evening. We didn't have a meeting tonight. We're all very busy, and especially with the activity on Friday night. But I did want to give you a heads up and get you fully informed on this coming week. Obviously, we have a game, and we still have a lot of team stuff to teach, our formations, and I think also, frankly, the basic fundamentals. We have so many that haven't played. So the attempt of this video is to get us all on the same page, language-wise, and all on the same page for our formation philosophy, our game philosophy. I'll introduce it, and obviously we'll be talking about it not only this coming week, but for weeks to come. Okay, so first things, let's be on the same page terminology-wise of the field itself. We're going to call this the end line, call this the sidelines. Now, whether that's for the U7s, or whether that's for the U9s, 11s, 12s, or high school kids, it's the same. End line, sideline, center line, center circle, goalie box, corner kick areas, right? Now, I know there's going to be some of our kids, especially U9, U11, and 12, some of our kids that don't even know what those things mean. So for Monday and Wednesday, we're going to be reviewing that terminology, and reviewing the basic fundamentals of the game. Thursday, we have practice, but we may need to have practice on Friday, and we can all talk about that depending on how things go on Monday and Wednesday. I'll give the parents the heads up in an email that I'm sending tonight. So this is our field. Now we're going to introduce some terminology that I only used briefly last year or sparingly last year, but I want to really reinforce. And that's the concept of the thirds of the field. So we have a defensive third of the field. Obviously, this is not to scale. Then we have the center third of the field. Then we have the attacking third of the field. So we have the defensive third of the field, center third of the field, attacking third of the field. It's really important that we start to really instill that, especially for the U9, 11, and 12s. This concept of breaking the field down into thirds. You'll see why that's important in just a second. And then you have the center line of the field. That's the line that goes right down the middle. What this should do is conceptually break down the field into 6 quadrants. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 quadrants of the field. Our formations should cover all 6 quadrants of the field. And if we do it right, unless it's an emergency situation, nobody should run more than 2/3 of the field. 2/3 of the field. So the whole concept here, defensive third, center third, attacking third. And we want to all be referring to it in the same way. Okay, I want to go through our formations now. But to go through our formations, we have to think of it in a progression, because we're not just one team. We're teaching a philosophy of a program. So whether that's starting at U7 all the way up through a high school kid, we have a program that we run. That program is based on a 4-4-2. 4-4-2. Now the 4-4-2 is well used all around the world. And the 4-4-2 I like because it's very flexible. So what that means is 4 defenders, 4 midfielders, 2 strikers. 4-4-2. But the way we're going to play it is a little bit different. We're going to play a 4 in what we'll call a banana, a diamond, and then 2 strikers. But I'm going to teach this backwards. I'm going to show this to you backwards so that you understand the progression. It'll all make sense in just a second. We start with U7s. Now, obviously, the U7 field is a lot smaller than this. But if you can imagine the U7s, they play 2, 1, 2. 2, 1, 2. 2, 1, 2. The purpose, 2 defenders, a midfielder, 2 strikers. 2 defenders, midfielder, 2 strikers. When we go to U9, all we're going to have to do is add a back sweeper and a goalie. A back sweeper and a goalie. What does that give us? 2, 1, 2, 1. 2, 1, 2, 1. And you can start to see the beginning of our diamond. And again, this isn't to scale. Then when we get to the U11, that was for U9. For our U11, 10, 11, and 12, when we go to 9v9, play 9v9, all we're going to have to do is add 2 defenders. Add 2 defenders. Now, I want to break this down because we have, obviously a U11 and U12 team. So let's look at this. We've got our two strikers. We have an offensive or attacking midfielder, a defending midfielder, a right mid and a left mid, and two fullbacks. So this is the terminology. Strikers, attacking midfielder, right and left midfielder, defensive midfielder, fullbacks. And you notice the progression. We started with our base, 2-1-2. We teach the little kids 2-1-2. Then we teach 2-1-2-1. And then we just add two defenders or fullbacks. Now you'll notice in the email, I've given you some terminology that you can use to describe each one of these players. But basically, these are our scorers. Our strikers are our scorers. They're the fastest, they're the most accurate at shooting, and they love to score. They have a hunger to score. Then this attacking midfielder has got to have great ball handling skills because they feed the strikers. Now these two midfielders, right and left midfielder, they have to have great speed as well. I've drawn it this way, but they'll probably play out here and out here. They've got to have great speed up and down the field, and they've got to have the great ability to cross to the center. Great ability to cross. This defensive midfielder, now we think, they just stay back on defense. No, they attack as well. So if you think of it from the I'll get to that in a second. But this defensive midfielder is up. Well, I can do that now. So in the attacking mode, here, 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 the attacking midfielder is here. The defensive midfielder is there, and obviously they're not in the same plane. One is offset to the other. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people attacking. 6 people attacking on the offensive side. And then our two defenders or our two fullbacks push up accordingly. And then our keeper is in the back. So if you think about it, this diamond that we've created, between this defending midfielder, attacking midfielder here, this diamond, which I didn't draw very well, the diamond stays in place as it moves up and down the field. Okay, what about 11v11? All we do is add a defender here and a defender there. That's it. So the progression from 5, 2, 1, 2 to 7, add a goalie, put a put a back sweeper in. And then the next step in the progression is you add 2 defenders. And then when you go 11v11, here and here. Now, I don't know how well I'm explaining this. I hope I haven't made more confusion than good. So let me erase this real quick and draw it one more time. And thanks for your patience. I had a vision of how this would go, and maybe it hasn't gone like I thought it would. But let's draw it up one more time. So again, when we're with the little kids, 1, 2, make sure there's no glare. Nadia's on the camera, make sure there's no glare. So little kids, striker, midfielder, defenders, fullbacks. When we go to 7v7, we add a goalie, back sweeper. I'll move this goalie really quick. We add a goalie, back sweeper. So now we're 2-1-2-1 goalie. Then when we move to 9v9, we just add 2 defenders. We got our diamond and our strikers. Now, if we were going to draw this to scale, these are more out here as we get like that. So they can cover the wings. So when we go 9v9, 2 defensive midfielder, our right and left midfielders, attacking midfielders, our strikers. And then when we go 11v11, here and here. And this diamond actually, obviously this diamond moves up and down the field. Now I want you to look at it from the thirds. Again, this is not to scale. Try this one more time. if you have the defensive third, the middle third, and the attacking third, the strikers, obviously their point of emphasis is here. They should only be working within these 2/3. The attacking midfielder is in these 2/3. The defensive midfielder is in these 2/3. The wings are in these 2/3, here and here, here and here. The defenders are in these 2/3, here and here. So nobody should be running more than 2/3 of the field unless, of course, it's a emergency, right? So take a look at this. Maybe you got a glare on it. So think of it 2/3. Defensive third, middle third, attacking third. Strikers play these 2/3. Midfielders play these 2/3. If you're an attacking midfielder, you're in these 2/3. If you're a defensive midfielder, you're in these 2/3. Now, is there a time when the whole diamond will come back? Yeah, there is a time when the whole diamond would come back, and that would be on a corner kick. Let's talk about that real quick. So on a corner kick, and obviously we'll introduce this to the kids, on a corner kick, and this is for our 11 and 12-year-olds. 11 and 12-year-olds. Our two defenders, our two fullbacks, one post, the other post. And then we just bring our diamond in. Right? Our diamond is ready to go. We should have it covered. And then our two strikers are here ready for the breakaway. Obviously our goalie here. So the beauty of this diamond is we can move it all over the field. And it rotates, obviously. And we've got to teach the kid this. We introduced this last year with the Hot Shots, and we played it some. But we've got to obviously continue to reinforce it. So that's what we're teaching this week. And obviously we're teaching all season long. It will take us all season to teach it. So to review really quickly, we play a 4-4-2. 4-4-2 when we get to 11v11. But obviously there's a progression in that. What's the progression? 2, 1, 2 at the youngest age, at the youngest ages. Then we add the back sweeper and the goalie. So now we have 2-1-2-1. And then what do we do when they get older? Playing 9v9, we add the two defenders and push the diamond up. So then we have two strikers, an attacking midfielder, two wings, we're going to call them right and left center mids, centers, right and left. Then we have the defensive midfielder and the two fullbacks. And then for 11v11, what do? We just add two players right there and there. But the core we've taught from the beginning. We've taught this core from the beginning as they progress. So this is what we're doing tomorrow, Wednesday. And the plan is that we'll show this to the kids, and then we'll do our normal activities and drills. But there's going to have to be a lot of talking and teaching. And we'll try to move quickly, of course, and try not to let them be stale. But there's going to have to be some teaching and some diagramming and then walking it out on the field so that they're prepared for the first game. In addition to that, we're going to have to talk to them about out of bounds and throw-ins over the next few days. I'll have the practice schedule laid out for you. Hopefully I can send that to you in another email tonight. But watch this video. Thank you for watching this video. Sorry if it was a little incoherent. I apologize for that. But I wanted to get you the information. We haven't had a chance to meet. And clearly we're going to have to talk this week as we have the schedules now as well. And I'll be sending that out to the parents, or handing that out to the parents on Monday and sending it out to the other parents on Monday night. Long-winded, I'm sorry, maybe a little confusing. I hope not. I hope it gives you some sense of what we plan. And I'm sorry that we didn't do this in a meeting, but with Friday night, I know everyone's had a little soccered out. So we'll talk about this. I'll have it in diagram form as well for you tomorrow. And in this email, you see the explanations of each position. Thank you for all that you do. We absolutely could not do this without you. And I think you could tell from Friday night, the kids are having a great time. Thank you for the difference that you make. Take care, everybody.